Well, so the tour of Italy wants to come to the United States, and then they have to choose a city. Which city might this end up being? Let's think about this. Well, it's got to be somewhere on the eastern seaboard. You can't travel too far away. That's critical. And I'll tell you what, while there were a lot of great places, and not very many of them that had courses or backdrops or landmarks like this one right here, there was an individual who made the difference. A triathlete. Just a triathlete, a bike rider, someone who goes out and on weekends, this is what they do as a passion, is bicycle riding and racing. And he happens to be the mayor of Washington, D.C. So when the option came up that we might, just might, be able to bring one of the greatest sporting events on earth here, and it happens to be a cycling event, there was a man who stood there and said, nowhere else. It is going to be right here. Please welcome your mayor, Adrian Fenty.
Thank you very much, Mike. We appreciate you coming in from Colorado to make this an extra special event. You know, I really can't say it any better than our host did. We want to just thank the ambassador for both having us here, and then I think for summing up what this means more than anything, and that is we do have the opportunity to be residents of two fabulous countries. You of Italy, and I, and so many of us here of the United States, two countries that have worked together for so many years to make this world a better place. So out of everything else that this race will symbolize, coming to the nation's capital, more than anything, it symbolizes the great friendship, partnership, and strength of the two countries that we are privileged to be residents of. Thank you again, Mr. Ambassador. Give a round of applause. I do want to just say that, as was mentioned by Michael, this probably is the culmination of more things that I've been involved in personally and professionally than anything else I've probably been a part of. I'll start by recognizing both of my parents. Where are you at, Mom and Dad? Okay, you guys, I have to single them, but I always single them out. But my dad, of course, founded the first triathlete store, really not just in the city, but on the East Coast, Fleet Feet Sports Shop back in 1984. For those who've been around for a long time, you know that endurance sports back in the early 80s was a far different thing than it is now in the 21st century. So he and my mom has started the store, really have been a part of this movement, which is culminating in this event for decades now. And of course, my mom is a daughter of two Italian immigrants. Both my grandfather John and my grandmother Phyllis were born in Italy. In fact, this race, the Giro d'Italia, I think right in the middle of the 2010 race, will go right through their hometown of Frosinone. So for a couple of different reasons that people may not be aware of, this is an extra special event. I want to thank both Angelo and Mark Summers for working so hard on this event and getting us here today. Angelo Zomegnan, race director, Giro d'Italia, Mark Summers, chair of Giro d'Italia DC 2012 working group, have worked harder than anyone can imagine to get us to this point. We've still got one or two stages left to go, but please give them a round of applause. Bicycles, so it's just a great honor to have Mr. Colnago here with us, everyone. So, taking off my personal bicyclist and son of Italy hat, I'll put back on my mayor's hat and just tell you that this city has come a long way. Thanks to people like Chuck Brodsky and the DC Sports Alliance. We now have not just one, but two triathlons every year. Not just one marathon, but two marathons a year. We host the Army 10-miler, the nationally renowned Cherry Blossom 10 miler. We've got great sports teams. Daniel Gallinari will be playing our Washington Wizards downtown in the Horizon Center tomorrow night. Great soccer teams, great sporting events, and it's a city that is on a great, it has great momentum and is going through a great renaissance. But the Giro d'Italia, taking the beginning of its race and bringing it not just to the United States of America, but to Washington, D.C., I think it's safe to say we'll take everything that we've been doing and just put it on a rocket. We really do believe that this race, by highlighting to the world, not just the great monuments, not just the great architecture, the rivers, the parks, but the great neighborhoods and the people of Washington, D.C. as a representation of everything that is great about this country, is just going to be a fabulous and magnificent event. As Angelo and his team continue towards making the final announcement, just know that as the mayor of the District of Columbia, on behalf of the businesses and residents who live here, we not only applaud everything that you've done enthusiastically, but you've got our full commitment, whatever we need to do to make sure that this first trek outside of Europe to have the start of the race here in the nation's capital will be a monumental success. God bless you all. Thank you very much.
For us to get a good photo op with you and the guy who is responsible, the head honcho of the entire organization that is bringing this race to the United States. This guy, as I mentioned to you earlier, was a reporter for 25 years with La Gazzetta dello Sport. And just like, interestingly enough, occurred over at the Tour de France, where a great reporter there became the race director, they recognize that these are the people that understand the best how this organization could run. Importantly, that they have the vision for being able to see how this thing can grow. This guy is a visionary. And that is one of the reasons why we're standing here tonight. The idea, the notion, crazy in a way, that they would bring a race this far over to the United States to do it. But this is a guy who has changed the mood of bicycle racing in Europe. He has changed the mood certainly in Italy and of his event, and it is all for him about the globalization of cycling, and he wants to do that by bringing this race here in 2012. He's a tremendous man. He's from Milan. What a great guy. Please welcome Angelo Zomegnan.